أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. So today we're going to talk about inner child, working with inner child, healing inner child, and this is so important. Why is well, let us define what is the inner child. Yeah, it is in psychological is a concept that represent the emotional and subconscious part of us formed in childhood. uh, that part of us it is stored well. Normally we don't really forget anything, but that part which need healing, uh, uh, we will be working with the painful experiences from childhood, because like we store positive experiences like curiosity and playfulness, and negative experiences like trauma, neglect, or unmet needs. Everything the brain really remember. But like the painful experience, when they are unresolved, these wounds will influence our adult behavior. It will influence our relationship. It will influence our self-worth. It will really be like a path where we go through it. We go through life looking with the glasses from our childhood, and it influences everything in our lives. Um, Healing work with the inner child allows the person to reconnect, reparent, and nurture that part of themselves, leading to emotional intelligence and well-being. Yeah, it's just so important. It's so important. Even if we don't really go through a very traumatic experiences. Uh, yeah, even if we did not go through any traumatic experiences, just any kind of neglect or negligence affect the self-worth. Self-worth, it will be like damaged at some level. Um, how do wounds for the inner child? What happened? Childhood wounds are shaped by neglect, criticism, absence of love and safety. These leave deep emotional impact. We're just talking about this is not really very big traumatic like being in a war zone, or like sexual abuse. It's just like like a small something very small, which the mother would say or the father would do, can leave something very deep on the child, or on the soul. Um, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran is asking us, I do not ask you for anything, just to have compassion for those who are very close to you. Like the Quran is all about mercy and compassion among ourselves in relationships. Um, because that is like, sometimes we think we give our children like very expensive, we buy them very expensive things, but like what is really matters is the love we give to them, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want from us. Allah wants from you to give love and compassion for your children. That's what we're asked to give our children. So what are the signs of like we really need to go and work in our inner child? Fear of abandon, or pleasing, people pleasers, or no boundaries, or like really self criticism. How do you speak to yourself? That like we need normally speak to ourselves the way our parents have spoken to us. Uh, so healing is important because unresolved wounds will show up in our relationship. It will show up in our relationship, or when we have a relationship, or when we don't have a relationship. It show in our relationship with if we have a husband, it will show up in that. if we don't have a husband, it also shows up in that, in self-confidence, in our confidence, in our mental health. Healing brings, like, so healing is important because it will bring us peace, strength, inner freedom. So yeah, and I find this exercise really very useful. So like, yeah, everyone have a piece of paper and a pen. Draw three circles, one for the past, one for the present, and for the future. And this exercise you can do like every, you can work on this, like, if you have done this before, just open the page which you have done it and write more words. I said last time, write three words in each circle. So if you have your notes, just go back on the notes and add more words to the past, to the present, to the future. I give you 5 minutes to do this exercise.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I want you to look at the size of your circles, and put numbers, like if the childhood, the biggest one, write number one. If the present, put numbers, put one, two, three. Give each size a number. And I just want you for a second to reflect on the size and the word to which you wrote. If the past circle is the biggest, that means like we really need to go back into our childhood and do some work about our childhood. Maybe like forgive people. Um if our present is the biggest, if our future is the smallest, then this is like, is maybe it is time for us to start focus more on making plans for the future. Uh, because like, dream more, like have more aspirations and dreams. You don't really find a lot in the Muslim community people like plan for the future. It's just like, day to day. Day to day is like you find like in Japan, a lot of people like have planned for the next 5 years where they are going. Yeah. Uh, so, and it is important like to have plans for the future. Like okay, I want to memorize the Quran. So how many years would that take me? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? So like plan for like things for which will connect you with Allah. Plan for your body. Plan for your emotional intelligence. How can you develop yourself more and more and more? Uh, so this is like, this will just show you a little bit about what are the important things for you and where you need to focus more. Yeah, so this circle will just like, this can be like your notebook, and reflection is so important. Uh, and time, the time you spend with yourself. Time is a very precious. Time is the most precious thing we have in life, because you can never go to the shop and buy more time. So it's like your journal is the time you spend with yourself and respect, and reflect on your life, uh, about the past, about the present, and about the future. How can you make, the present and the future more, vivid and more exciting and more happy? And it's important we are content, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to practice gratitude, and to say, when we say Alhamdulillah, we say it from our heart. We say it with like really feeling, Alhamdulillah, I'm grateful, Ya Allah. Where every time I stand and pray and I say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, I really mean it. I'm grateful for you, Ya Allah, for all my blessings, for everything today in my life. And that is important, to be with peace, with what happened in the past, and with just always with peace. And our religion is Islam, is peace. So compassion and self parenting. We learn to become our nature. How do you become your nurturing parent? Give yourself a first. I said time. you create the time. And I say, like, use our time. You like use our session on Tuesday, or like, and every day after you pray, you sit down and you and like, just like connect with Allah, connect with yourself, and practice being in peace with you, with your soul, and practice like giving gratitude for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the bottom of your heart. So you give yourself love, love yourself. Practice by giving yourself the time that you are giving yourself love. Yeah, just start to learn to fall in love with yourself. These are nice things, like when I say share something nice about yourself. This is so important, because if you have been like in a family where criticism is so dominant and it is so normal, sometimes you will find yourself speaking to yourself in a critical way. So love, and safety, and care, we once lacked. Yeah, just by giving yourself compassion and love, and talk to yourself in a kind way. This is so important. And it, like, if it is something you really never experienced in a family, it can be like, it can be something we need to practice. Yeah, you build it up. You start little by little. Give yourself time. Buy yourself little things just for you. Mothers normally do everything for their children. You put your children first all the time. But you know that in the airplane they teach you, if anything happened to the airplane, put your mask first before you put your child. Yeah, because if you are not functioning, you cannot really help anyone. If you don't love yourself enough, you will not be able to love your children enough. Or if you don't, like, the empty cup cannot give, the empty glass. If you are empty, what can you give your children? But if you are full, there will be abundance. Uh yeah, so it's like, when we connect and listen and heal our childhood, we will break from the old pattern. We will build healthy relationship. We will build healthy, and we will also attract healthy people. Normally, it is unconscious. We attract people like ourselves. We attract people like ourselves. Like, even your friends, you will attract friends like you. You will attract, sometimes you inspire. Yeah, um, you will attract people like you. Um, um, this, like, sometimes some, like, a woman will say, "Oh, I will never marry someone like my dad," and then she will marry someone exactly like her dad. And then, like, when she meets the person, she will say, "Oh, I feel like she said, I fall in love with him from first time. I feel like I known him for a long time." That is real, because this is not the, yeah, because he remind you of your dad, because there is something in them you felt very familiar with. So I always say to the young girls, who want to get married, I would say, first, before you even think about it, if there was any drama in your childhood, try to heal that part. Because if there is drama between the mother and the father, that definitely affect us, whether we like it or not, at some level. And it's important to heal that part of our childhood before we move into a future. We don't really want to bring our past into our future. Um, yeah. So what are the practical tools for healing any kind of problems? Journaling. Journaling is very, very therapeutic. Journaling helps us to discharge negative emotion. is like talking therapist. You go to a therapist and you talk about what is blocking you. Uh, but in our community, you know, um, I always talk about this in our community, mental health and like nobody talk about this. Nobody think even of going for therapy. Maybe sometimes financial problem, but if there was no financial problem, it's just cultural thing. People don't really want to be seen as someone who are seeking like help, mental help. But that is just very shallow minded. Like we develop and we grow when we thought our life. Like in America, everyone have a life coach. Everyone have a life coach. So is the society is okay to have a life coach? Or like life coach can also be something like therapist because you talk about whatever in you know in your mind, and that help to clear a mind and too much thinking. It can help you to clear, yeah, to be focused on where you are going. Um, So if you don't really want, and that like it saves you time and money. Therapy saves time and money. So if you don't really want to go for therapy, journaling can help. Like today, if at the side of the three circles, if the childhood is the biggest, I recommend you work with a therapist, or you find like buy yourself a journal and start writing. Uh, but for I always say even to my own children, because like I say always like go for therapy. It will help you to grow on all levels, emotionally, spiritually, economically also. Economically you will grow, financially you will grow when you're working, you're functioning from 100%. Positive and supportive affirmation. Um, that is the Western way of saying it. We say, as Muslim, we say, trust Allah. Always believe Allah will be with you all the time, and Allah is kind, and Allah is rahmah, and Allah is mercy. Um, yeah. So what do we think? What do we think? Uh, about Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. How do you pray? How do you connect with Allah? Do you spend really time, or like sometimes do we really focus in our prayer? Sometimes we are praying and we are thinking about 100 things, 101 things. So like clear your mind and your heart from anything when you connect with Allah. Yeah, and connect with the Quran, because the Quran is a healer. Quran is a healer, and the Quran teaches so many things about compassion and rahmah and acceptance our destiny. Quran is like, as I said, like Western philosophy. Yeah, and dua, talk to Allah. When you pray, talk to Allah. Connect with Allah and ask Him what you want. Because sometimes, a lot of the time, people don't really ask Allah. They say, oh, Allah knows what I want. Allah knows my situation. Allah knows your situation, but Allah loves to hear your prayer. You know the verse what Allah said, "Oh, if my people ask you about me, I'm very close. Ask me. Ask me." Zechariah did not have a child, but when Maryam, peace be upon her, told him, "Oh, it is from Allah," then Zechariah said, "Allah grant me a son." And Allah gave him the son. So it's like Allah is teaching us, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you want. Okay. So these are uh, these are the main points I wanted to share today for the inner child work.